A question was brought up about solar eclipses inside LSC Earth. And the question was, like, if the moon, let's bring up my screen here. That's a good shot. Okay. If the moon, okay, here we're looking at this diagram. Tap down, zoom out a little bit so you understand. Okay. So we have the celestial sphere here. We have the octahedron looking top down. We have the sun here and the moon in front. The path of the sun is that yellow dotted line, and the path of the moon is the blue dotted line. So we have my sun here, and we have different positionings of the moon, and you'll notice it's a funnel shaped illuminated area that projects outward from the sun. When the light from the octahedron hits the back of the sun, and it flays out like that, it disperses out like that, and so it creates this funnel shaped area. And so one of the questions was, like, if the moon is like over here somewhere, why wouldn't we get the shadow of the moon appearing on the land? And that has to do with the angle of the light and the way the trajectory works, how it curves around like that. So I have 3 different scenarios of the positionings of the moon. If the moon is here, in other words, outside this funnel illumination zone area, no shadow will hit the Earth. If you look at this gray dotted line, that's the path of the light. It's not hitting the Earth. It's simply just wrapping around like that. If it is intersecting with that funnel illumination zone, that's when we get a partial solar eclipse. And so the partial solar eclipse, let me get my layer up here. It's going to project a shadow area where the shading is going to bend around like that. And so this area over here on the Earth, or in the Earth, is going to be shaded, and it's going to be what you would call a penumbral shading, not the umbral shading. The umbral shading is where it's darkest, and so we're not really going to get much of an umbral shading with the partial solar eclipse. And of course the total solar eclipse, this positioning right here of the moon, it's going to project your shadow here, going straight up like that. Okay, hopefully that clarifies how light works, how the solar eclipses work within the Earth. It all has to do with the curvature of the light and the trajectory of the light and the illuminated conical zone area. It doesn't take much for the moon to exit that area. In other words, it's a very narrow region here. So if the moon is even just like slightly offset with the sun, you're not going to get a shadow on the Earth. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Okay. Ciao.